Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving headfirst into an absolutely wild story. We're going to break down an office conflict that started with a seemingly harmless administrative document and escalated into a massive corporate confrontation over stolen credit. We're talking hidden evidence, a major boardroom twist, and a crucial lesson on workplace fairness. This is the story of an employee who was, get this, practically asked to apologize for being right, all because a tiny system change exposed an entire culture of leadership cover-ups. So if you've ever poured your absolute soul into a project only to see someone else's name slapped on it at the finish line, well, this one is definitely for you. Maya Carter, a strategy lead, put it perfectly. She said the dangerous documents never look dangerous first. And man, does that hit the nail on the head. That quote sets up our core mystery today perfectly. You see, the most toxic office politics, they rarely announce themselves with some big dramatic villain speech. Instead, they slip into the system through a quiet, almost invisible administrative exception. In the company we're looking at, transparent credit was supposed to be rolling out, but, well, old habits die hard. They just get quieter, sneaking back in as something as simple as a photo caption.
So, let's get right into it. Part 1. The incident. The silent erasure. To really understand this theft, we have to look at the exact moment it happened. A public corporate social post was approved, and the original media kit caption clearly, explicitly credited operations coordinator Sofia Lane and her team for their work. But after it was approved, it was quietly altered. Sophia's meme completely vanished, and the entire launch was suddenly reframed as a single leader's vision. And let's be clear, this wasn't an innocent typo. It was a deliberate rerouting of the company's narrative to steal the spotlight.
Which brings us to part 2, the smokescreen. Excuses and polite pressure. Now, when Maya and Sofia actually confronted leadership about this, the higher-ups didn't panic. No, toxic leadership loves to use gentle, polished corporate speak to brush things under the rug. They threw around words like alignment and efficiency and focusing on the team outcome. But if we translate that corporate jargon, it actually just means erasure, stolen credit, avoiding accountability, and quite frankly, hiding the lie. They deliberately framed the issue to make Sofia feel like she was the one causing division, just by asking for the truth. They literally pressured her to apologize for being right. And that is exactly when analyst Aisha Morgan stepped in and asked an incredibly uncomfortable question. She asked, who benefits if this stays classified as harmless? This was the major turning point. Instead of letting everyone in that room drown in this leadership-induced guilt trip, Aisha instantly shifted the focus from these abstract, fluffy excuses to a specific beneficiary. Because, office lies can survive when the harm they cause is kept vague, but they collapse the second the specific beneficiary is actually named.
Moving right along to part 3, the investigation, building the proof map.
Realizing that getting emotional wasn't going to get them anywhere, Maya Carter decided to just follow the system records. She built a proof map. By mapping out highly specific elements, the object, the owner, the exact timestamp, the bypassed approval, the affected employee, the possible beneficiary, and the public risk, Maya basically gave the fear a shape. She took emotion completely out of the equation and provided the team with a cold, factual path to the truth. She locked all the escape routes for the lie. And then, executive assistant Nina Ross brought in the hidden evidence. She pulled calendar exports, saved drafts, and meeting notes, proving a golden rule. Background work still has foreground records. People who treat administrative tasks as invisible totally forget that invisible work sees everything. The thieves really thought they were operating in the shadows, but they left digital footprints all over the place.
All right, part 4, the confrontation, the undeniable sequence. This is where the big boardroom twist happens.
So, IT audit specialist Jordan Price gets up and he doesn't use complex tech jargon to confuse everyone. He just presents the raw chronological data as forensic evidence. 1. The original file was created. 2. The media kit was approved by the team. 3. The file was opened and the owner field was changed. And 4. The altered caption was published as the leader's vision. This data proved exactly when the file was reopened and altered. It made the official excuse that this was just a minor process error, completely impossible to keep alive. The sequence itself told the whole story. And then Maya drops this absolute mic drop of a quote. She says, I am not asking you to trust me. I am asking you to trust the record you created. I mean, wow. That stopped the room dead. You can make an excuse for a mistake, sure, but you cannot argue with the system of record your own company built. A raw export and a timestamp, they don't need interpretation, and intentional patterns are incredibly hard to just apologize away.
Which leads us to the final lesson on workplace fairness in Part 5, repairing the system, the blueprint.
Because just discovering the truth, that wasn't enough for this team. A private fix might have calmed leadership down, but it would leave future employees totally exposed. So to ensure this never happened again, HR manager Linda Park and board member Elise Warren hard-coded 4 exact steps into the workflow. Number 1, preserve the original file. Number 2, attach a reason code for any change. Number 3, notify the affected employee. And number 4, log the public correction. They turned good intentions into mandatory action. Now, no one can quietly erase a name without setting off a ton of alarms. They created what they call a verified credit workflow. It's a systemic rule requiring that all public captions must reflect the documented audit trail of the team who actually built the work. And this is brilliant, right? Because it pivots from simply trying to catch theft after it happens to actively designing a system that makes theft almost impossible to attempt in the first place. The old culture used the process to erase people. This new culture uses the process to carve their names in stone.
Ultimately, Sofia's name was correctly restored right beside her work. And there was no giant round of applause or big celebration, and that's perfectly fine. A workplace becomes safer when names cannot be quietly removed and records cannot be politely ignored. This victory proved that true workplace justice doesn't need a performance. It needs permanence. Accurate credit isn't just some administrative courtesy. It's how a workplace actually proves that an employee's effort is valued and protected.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to think about your own office files. Ask yourself, is your own work protected by a verifiable record, or is it just relying on an unspoken promise? If your name was suddenly erased tomorrow, do you have the timestamps and the system proof to defend yourself? Remember, records don't speak for themselves. They just sit there waiting for someone brave enough to read them out loud. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you next time.